Hey everyone, welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all of the latest news from the world of movies, plus a little bit of insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today is AMC Movie News Senior Editor, Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Hey, welcome back. As I learned via social media, my boss is in Vegas again. So we have a nice panel for you today. I've been trying to bring this team together for a long time, and it's happening today.
Also here, writer-director John Schnepp.
That's right. Not only are me and Amy Rose here, but we got some nerdists in the house.
Woo!
Nerdists in the house.
Also at the table, associate editor for Nerdist.com, Dan Casey.
There is no Dan, only Zool.
And also here, editor-in-chief for Nerdist.com, Brian Walton.
Hi. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on me now, and I don't think I'm going to deliver quite as funny as Dan did. Hi.
All right, before we get into the news, Mr. Dan Casey actually brought to my attention that Terminator Genisys has been same title, but the spelling is a little oddball now.
A hip new spelling. You know what kids love these days? The letter Y. So you know what we're gonna do? Jam that right in the middle of the title. So it is Terminator Genisys, Genisys. You know, like systems and computers and.
Genesis?
Yes, Genisys.
So do you like it? Is that what I'm taking from this?
Yeah, I wish that we could get more Y's in there. Like maybe instead of like T-E-R-M-Y-N, like Terminator.
Or Genisys. Genisys.
Just replace-
It is Terminator Genisys.
Just replace every vowel with a Y.
Yeah.
It is the appropriate letter. I mean, why bother?
Yes.
Oh.
Boom.
Dad jokes.
Sci-fi. Sci-fi.
Yes.
I think they pre-sold it to the Sci-Fi Channel. So they were like, we'll let you get it on our exclusive thing, but you got to chuck more Y's in there, like what we did with the Sci-Fi. Quiet up.
As long as we can put a Mansquito Easter egg, sold.
That's right.
I hope it has a meaning. I hope that Skynet's something, but like maybe it's just trying to be super snazzy. I don't know.
Yeah, like Cyberdyne.
Time.
They're like, Cyberdyne, let's come up with our own. Genisys.
Well, at least it
Genisys
didn't-
Industries.
At least it didn't tenderize Terminator and go down to like Terminator.
Yeah.
Terminating. I don't know.
Yes.
Right.
Terminate.
Terminate. There you go. All right, guys. Well, that was an interesting roundabout. Let's jump into the movie news. Ashley, what's the first topic?
Alrighty, the full cast has just been announced for the upcoming Kickboxer reboot. Already announced were former UFC welterweight champion George St. Pierre, who recently appeared in Captain America 2, and Dave Bautista from Guardians of the Galaxy, as well as Ong Bak's Tony Jaa, actors Scott Adkins, and Elaine Moussi. Kickboxer follows a talented martial artist who travels to Thailand, where he must learn the secrets of the kickboxer to avenge his brother's death at the hands of Tong Po, played by Dave Bautista. Amy Rose, what do you think of the cast for Kickboxer?
Well, I just learned some new moves back here. Honestly, I don't care that much. I just don't. I love Dave Bautista. I actually thought he was great as Drax. That dry humor was perfect for that character then. And, Captain America 2, I loved it. I can't say that he stuck out to me either. I don't really think I'm the demo for this. I do love me good action films in this, but like the general synopsis and a remake to boot and the cast, I mean, some people might be very excited about this. I am not one of them, but maybe it'll be really exciting and great. Brian, what do you think about this news?
I must be some people. I feel like I might be one of the few people looking forward to this. Kickboxer looks like it's going to be a lot of fun if they just make it a fight movie. That's all we really want from movies like that. They've got really strong fighters cast. They have really great choreography planned. I really think it could be a really fun spectacle. It could be a really good movie. It just needs a little bit of heart and a little bit of character, which is what Jean-Claude Van Damme brought to the first one. If we get that, we've got a movie that I'll watch and eat some popcorn with.
Boom. Dan.
Well, I love Bad Truck the Leaper. I love Drax the Destroyer. I have no idea what to expect from Kickboxer. I think they could ground it a little more, make it a little more modern, make it cardio Kickboxer. Maybe have like a mom of 3, she's had a tough day and then she just works out all her aggression and then she has to fight to save her town. But no, I think it has a great cast. I haven't seen the first one. I didn't see the 1991 classic sequel, Kickboxer 2, Son of Kickboxer. And, I think I'm with Amy Rose on this one. That's not to say I won't see it. I just, I'm kind of stymied, mystified by it.
Right?
Schnepp.
Ex-kickboxer, kickboxette. I don't know. I mean, you know what? Tony Jaa is the only name for me that like I got excited. Where I was like, because his films, The Protector, all of his films are really fun, and he's crazy, jumpy, flippy through glass and craziness. So you know, I like Batista. You know, kicky Pierre guy. He's cool. I mean, he's going to get to expand a little bit more beyond a punchy kick scene with Captain America.
Wasn't Kiki Pierre in Moulin Rouge?
Yeah, that kicky dance
Died
scene.
of consumption.
Yeah. While kickboxing, yeah, I don't know. I mean, kickboxer fans, if you guys are out there and you're all into kickboxing and kickboxers, this is probably the movie that you can't wait to see because it's all about kickboxing. So it's a kickboxer revenge film, at least.
Yeah.
So he's after revenge of the kickboxer who killed his brother. He must fight him in the ring.
And learn
like
his
that.
secrets, you know?
do this sport.
That's right. I will get my revenge in the ring.
I wanted to play violin.
Yeah.
If your name is Lloyd Dobler, you are looking forward to this movie.
Amen.
There we go.
Hold it up. Hold it
Kickboxer.
up.
Hold up the kickboxer.
All right, Ashley, what's next?
After several years of development delays and problems, the newest Jurassic Park film, Jurassic World, has officially wrapped production. The announcement was made by director Colin Trevorrow on his Twitter account by posting this picture with the word wrap. Jurassic World is set to hit AMC theaters on June 12, 2015, and stars Chris Pratt, who can currently be seen in Guardians of the Galaxy. Schnepp, what are your expectations for Jurassic World?
My expectations are to see a lot of dinosaurs. That's really... I don't know what else the answer would be. My expectations, small children. Dinosaurs, and a lot of them, and maybe some mutant hybrid dinosaurs. I know we all saw like some of the weird art where it was like, we were combining human DNA with it. Yeah, the weird human dinosaur with the small arms, like, you know, it's like, I expect to see maybe that in Jurassic World, but what I really expect is dinosaur mayhem. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
I want Schneppzilla. That's what I want.
yeah. Post-credit sequence.
Give me Schneppzilla. First of all, I love that picture of rap, and you know, I mean, that's pretty epic. I think that was brilliantly done, and like, I am a sucker for these films. I love them, and you know, the first film that was brought to us still holds up today, and like the effects and everything were amazing, and I definitely saw it remastered in 3D by myself, and like, I just love it. It's such a fun sensation to see these giant dinos on the screen, and I think having a cool indie director like Colin come on the scene is a really good move. And Chris Pratt, I always loved him. I love him even more as Star-Lord, and I think that his comedic timing, but also great dramatic chops are perfect to lead a franchise like this into the new generation. So I am amped. Dan?
I think you hit the nail on the head there. I was very stoked when I heard that Colin Trevorrow was coming on because I was a big fan of Safety Not Guaranteed. I was a little iffy on the ending of that, but I definitely, I could go either way. I enjoyed it at the time, but in hindsight, maybe not. But no, I think he's a really exciting choice to take over a big budget franchise like this. I think he can bring some cool ideas to it. And like you said, the cast, I'm all about them. Chris Pratt, I think hopefully he will fill that Jeff Goldblum-shaped hole in our hearts. And speaking of Jeff Goldblum, he did that wedding over the weekend, so you can still see him running away from dinosaurs if you attend nuptials in Toronto.
All right.
We love you, Jeffy. Brian?
I have no disagreements with anybody. I think everybody's excited for Jurassic World. The one thing I would like to point out is that Steven Spielberg, problems on his set are not uncommon. I mean, Jaws was one of the biggest, you know, horror stories of all time.
The shark wasn't working.
Yeah, exactly. So to hear that there are problems coming off of a Steven Spielberg produced set doesn't scare me. It revs me up. It gets me excited because problems on his sets happen because they're trying new pardon my language. Am I allowed to say that?
Nope, you're not.
Okay, sorry. Whoops. Because they're trying new stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where I think the more problems on that set, the more cool stuff we're going to get.
This feels like a great time to
Spared no expense with the FCC.
Yeah, the way he says sheet, he's talking about those sheets that, that Spielberg
Long
has.
staple
Am I
Egyptian
mispronouncing
cotton.
your name again?
Yeah, he's saying sheet.
I'm trying to say Schnapp.
Only
Yeah.
Egyptian cotton, of course.
Yeah.
All right, this is a good time to transition into Buy or Sell. The lovely Miss Bova has a couple other items going on in the world of movie news, and my misfits around me and I are simply going to say if we buy or sell it. What's the first one?
Captain America 3 is scheduled to hit AMC theaters on May 6, 2016, and the Russo brothers are already hard at work on the project. According to a recent interview with the pair, it seems the political thriller tone of the second movie will carry through the third one. They said the following: "The character, Winter Soldier, was invented for an explicitly political purpose, so it's hard to get away from that nature." Dan, buy or sell Captain America 3 maintaining a political thriller tone?
I will buy the ever-loving crap out of this. I want to buy it so hard. I thought Winter Soldier was such a great improvement over the first Avenger. It really accelerated the character, expanded on what they'd already built up in First Avenger and Avengers. And I thought it was just a great movie. It was so hard-hitting, it was really impactful, and it had a lot of heart to it. So I think that they can maintain that political thriller tone, sort of balancing Cap's disillusionment with the modern world with his, classic sensibilities. I think they can do something really exciting. There's so many great stories out there. I mean, even if they want to build up to an eventual civil war, I know they got to deal with the Infinity Gauntlet first, but I think this is a great way, a great avenue to explore.
Completely agree, enthusiastic buy. I remember when the Russos first came on board and all of us were like, what? And now I'm like, yes, they're back for the third. I'm so excited about it. And the first Avenger was my least favorite of the standalones of the new generation of the MCU. I was just kind of like, and it wasn't Chris Evans' fault. He was great, and Haley Atwell, and there were a lot of redeeming factors about it, but the pace, and I just didn't think the tone was as cool as some of the other standalones, Thor and all the other ones. But the second film was amazing. Everything about it. I wouldn't have changed anything. And Scarlett Johansson as the pair, they were great. So I am really excited about the third. And that was a 70s political crime thriller. And, Sebastian Stan, the Winter Soldier, could have been a flat character, and he wasn't. He was really full of depth and trying to figure out what the hell happened to him and, where he's going and the relationship with Cap and everything. And I'm excited to see if they're going to go down the storyline. I think they're going to go down. So, yeah, I could not be more excited about the third one. Schnapp?
Well, it looks like they're going to follow the Brubaker Cap, which is one of the better modern Captain America stories. I differ. I really loved the first Captain America because Marvel was doing what we don't get really that much anymore, was the World War II movie. And so that's a risk for them, but they were following the Ultimates because the Ultimates issue 1 was all World War II Cap, and it ends with him freezing. So with them launching the new Marvel Cinematic Universe, they've been picking their stories and their modern cinematic stories from the comics, the modern comics, as well as mining the old classics and combining them. So I'm really happy to hear about the Russos writing it and being really involved in it and following through with what I thought was also a fantastic sequel.
Brian?
Again, I don't really have much to add, as everybody is hitting on the fact that this is just good things. I mean, really all I have to say is, don't they look like Boardwalk Empire Muppet guys? That's
Brian,
there's anything
one
wrong
of
with
those
that.
guys is a kickboxer. So just relax, because that guy might be seeing you on the red carpet.
You guys covered all the cool stuff about the movie. What am I going to talk about?
Didn't you refer to me as a Muppet or something? Kind of Boardwalk Empire creature or something? Yeah, it's that's how the Russos talk, guys.
I see myself as more of a Fraggle.
Yeah.
I mean, there are characters.
Fraggle Rock!
There are characters in Captain America's world I would love to see injected into it. I can't wait to see more Sharon Carter. I seriously want to see more of her. So I'd like to see more of a focus on her, less of a focus on Black Widow, but I'd like to see Black Widow go do her own thing. So I think that's where I'd like to see that go. And I'm glad they're back because I think they can tell that story well.
Let's do this. All right, what's next?
Although the Legend of Conan movie has been talked about for years, the project may be ready to get in front of the cameras as early as this coming spring. In a recent interview, producer Frederick Malmberg discussed the script nearly being ready and when they may shoot. He said the following: "We'll probably have this turned in around September after the holiday, and then we'll take it to the studio. And if they're happy, we can hopefully start production in spring 2015. Brian, buy or sell that the Legend of Conan will actually begin shooting this coming spring?
Lloyd Dobler, I'm sorry, I'm about to buy or sell something. And I'm going to sell Conan because I don't think I'm interested at this point. I love the original Conan movie. Game of Thrones is filling me with my need for fantasy storytelling in a really good way. And I just don't think Schwarzenegger has the verve and the chutzpah to pull off Conan anymore. I don't know if I'm articulating it well, but I'm over Schwarzenegger playing that. If I'm going to see Schwarzenegger do a sequel, give me Kindergarten Cop. Give me a sequel to Twins. Give me his silly, fun stuff that he was doing because...
When he was pregnant? What was that?
Yeah.
Junior.
Yeah, Junior 2.
Junior, the third.
So yeah, I'm over him and a giant sword, and give me Red Sonja. Give me Robert Rodriguez's Red Sonja any day of the week. I would much rather see that because that is something we didn't see. We saw Bridget Nielsen, but that was a Conan movie with Bridget Nielsen tagging along. I want to see a real Red Sonja movie where she's front and center, and I want to see that before Conan.
Boom. Shep?
Yeah, I'm with you on the Red Sonja tip. I'd love to see them revitalize that character. But as far as King Conan, I'll say I really want to see a King Conan with Arnold because they promised it in the very first movie. It began with him. There are many stories of Conan, and he's like, he got the beard and he's King Conan. So I would love for them to cap it off with a King Conan. I think it's both of those films that go together. The Jason Momoa Conan just didn't work. So I would love to actually see them do a great King Conan with Arnold as King Conan. So I would hope that it would be a great film. So.
Dan?
I'm with you on this one, John. I'm buying, but with a thin veneer of cautious optimism because I really want it to be good. Right. I don't think it will be good. I mean, just think back to that awful prison movie with him and Stallone. The combined age of the action movie leads was like 132. Think about, let that sink in for a second. No, I mean, I think that there's some really cool old Conan stories you can tell, but I don't know if he's up to the task, and I hope that he'll just defy our expectations and deliver something solid as kind of like a, and I'm out, mic drop, axe drop, I'm out of here.
Let me say King Conan like Unforgiven.
Yes.
Like that's the way you do it. Like, because Clint Eastwood was, he could barely ride a horse, but he kicked some major ass at the end of that movie. Spoilers, guys. If you haven't seen Unforgiven from 20 years ago.
I think we're in territory now.
You.
Yeah, clever there. I'm also going to, so I think that it could happen, like, on the timeline that they're suggesting, because they obviously hope they're going to bake on the nostalgia factor. But the last few movies that Arnold has been in haven't been huge box office successes. So I feel like Terminator is the iconic role that I am excited to see him back because that stoic, older action star will work perfectly well in that. But seeing him as Conan again, I don't know, it might work, but I just can't say that my interest is that, much intact at the moment. But yeah, maybe it will surprise me, but for now, no. And Jason Momoa, that movie was absolutely outrageous. Outrageous, and it wasn't his fault. You can only shine so much in an awful script, with an awful script. So,
Jason, it's not your fault.
It's not your fault, Jason. Where's Christian when we need him?
That's totally not true. It's called improv. You can make the script better.
Yes, and I will destroy these barbarians.
I wish we had a soundbite of Christian's Arnold impression, because it's money. All right, Ashley, what's next?
It's being reported that actor Elijah Wood has signed on to appear in the upcoming Vin Diesel film, The Last Witch Hunter for Lionsgate. In The Last Witch Hunter, an immortal witch hunter, played by Vin Diesel, partners with his natural enemy, a female witch, to stop the covens of NYC from unleashing a plague on humanity. Amy Rose Byer saw Elijah Wood joining The Last Witch Hunter.
I feel like I've done this a lot in the show because I don't even know, Elijah Wood, he is a great actor. He really is. And I've liked, Maniac and the darker roles he's been doing lately. But, what is this movie? Vin Diesel playing a witch hunter, it might be awesome. The concept art was a little more interesting than I expected. I will happily admit that. But I love you, Vin Diesel, but I don't want to see you as a witch hunter. That didn't work for...
Hugh Jackman. He was what was
that?
that?
Jeremy Renner. And, Van Helsing. My body just stopped shuddering from displeasure.
It hasn't worked. But Elijah Wood joining this is so bizarre that I'm slightly a little more intrigued than I thought I would be, because it's if he's attracted to this, someone who's not doing a ton of films these days, maybe there is something really magical. I have yet to see it, but maybe there is. Brian?
I'm intrigued. I'm secretly hoping Elijah Wood is playing the female witch. I think that would be awesome. But I am.
Oh, no.
I mean, Elijah Wood has great taste in film. You see him every year at Fantastic Fest checking out the weird stuff. He is one of us when it comes to being a cinephile.
Yeah.
If he's attracted to something in this, I am curious now. And honestly, the energy that Vin Diesel has been bringing to the promotion of Guardians of the Galaxy feels like a Vin Diesel like he just stopped caring about his persona, because he is so charming. And honestly, I would love to see him playing an over-the-top collector-esque witch hunter, like, just because he has those chops, and I want to see him get weird. I
Yeah.
want to see Vin Diesel get weird.
Remember, he was a dungeon master. That guy's a super nerd. Just because he's this beefy, ripped dude, he's a geek. That
Yes.
guy's a geek throwing 20-sided die like, I'm an alien, you know.
Magic missile.
Yeah, I am it's Fireball. That's to give Vin Diesel's, that's the real Vin Diesel. Fireball.
If
So
the movie is just a campaign from their D&D game, I'm in.
Anything. So, like, Vin Diesel's in this movie, and then Elijah Wood, remember, he was like, I want to be in that Sin City movie. I want to play that creepy.
And he was
Yeah.
awesome in that.
He was one of the best parts.
Yeah,
Yes.
so, and Elijah Wood's been taking a lot of risks. Maniac.
Yeah.
That was
he's
awesome.
got his own horror
Yeah.
shingle. Yeah,
What was
so,
it, Grand Piano?
Grand
Is
Piano.
that-
Yeah.
amazing
That
film.
was really fun.
So
and
I gotta buy it. I gotta, because it's just like, it sounds weird,
Yeah.
and these guys are gonna just make it awesome weird. So
Dan?
This fall, you'll believe Vin Diesel can hunt witches. No, I mean, I'm gonna buy it because even if it's a terrible movie, I think I'm gonna have like a Battleship-style good time with it, where I'm just like, what is happening here?
Right.
Who greenlit this? This is not a fun goof you're playing on us. But no, I think I like Elijah Wood. I've really been enjoying Vin Diesel as of late, and you know, I'd rather have a good movie than a terrible one. So I'm trying to look forward to seeing Vin Diesel eradicate witchery. And coming from Massachusetts, where we really pioneered the art of burning witches at the stake and hunting them down, you know, it's really near and dear to my heart.
He even shines as a tree. So
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
love the man. I literally have not been more obsessed with any character out of any film than I am with Groot. Like, I really just want a baby dancing Groot in my life. Like, everything would be better. Everything would be better. All right, guys, we have now approached the mailbag portion of our show. This is probably a good time for a sing-along. We have a couple user-submitted questions. What's the first one, Ashley?
Zachary Stubbs writes, "What's up, AMC Movie Talk? You're one of my favorite shows ever. I was wondering if there is going to be an Evil Dead 2 remake. The last thing I heard, the script was in the works, and I haven't heard anything since. Is it happening? Keep up the great show."
Thank you for the question. We talked about this a little bit at Comic-Con, which still scars me, that event. I mean, there's two different Evil Dead properties kind of off the ground right now. Obviously, the Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, which is the one I really want. Continuing down, you know, the comedy realm where they kind of went with the original trilogy. And then we have Fede Alvarez remake, which was a reimagining of sorts. You know, the first frame was very much in the same vein, but it was different. And I do think that there's enough of a demand for that one. I want the King. That's the one I want. I want Bruce back with Raimi doing the magic. But in terms of continuing this new franchise, I also do think we'll see an Evil Dead in that. I haven't heard anything on that side of things for a while, but I know interest is intact for both. So I love the history and the folklore and everything they've created there. Big fan of both sets. I think Fede did a really good job in making that just a really scary movie. I had so much fun with my audience. So yeah, have you guys heard anything else about that?
My understanding, Bruce Campbell at WonderCon last year, when Evil Dead was coming out, said the plan was sequel, bring them together. And that's really the movie I want, when they bring them together. I like Fede brought some really intense horror elements to the movie that I think Evil Dead in Army of Darkness was really starting to lack. It's a beautiful, Army of Darkness is a great movie, but you watch that original Evil Dead and what they set out to do with that first one,
So
and
good.
not Evil Dead 2, the remake was more in that spirit, and people forget that. I think people, because Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 are so similar, a lot of people ascribe the values of Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness to that first one.
Correct.
So I'm really happy about the remake getting a sequel and it not being a remake of Evil Dead 2 and adding humor. It's going to be a direct sequel to Evil Dead. That was greenlit, and I believe there's a script in the works, so I want to see both of these sequels, and I can't wait for them to come together and the two Ashes meet.
All hail the King, baby.
I don't think that's going to happen because Alvarez left the project, so he's not involved or attached to Evil Dead 2 anymore. It's been several years for Evil Dead 2, and Raimi at Comic-Con, this Comic-Con, announced a TV series of Evil Dead with Bruce Campbell. So I think they're going to be rocking the Army of Darkness Evil Dead 2 style as a television series with Bruce Campbell as Ash. So I think that would kind of kill the fact of making Evil Dead 2 with a brand new horror director because the guy who made the remake left the project. So
do you think Evil Dead works as a series? Because I don't really think
I don't want it as a TV series.
I want it as a TV series because I think it works as Evil Dead 2 Army of Darkness. Like they can travel through time. It's open. The Deadites can show up anywhere. And Bruce Campbell is funny. Evil Dead 2 or Evil Dead the remake had no humor in it. That's why I didn't like it. It was scary. It had some cool moments in it, but it's not an Evil Dead movie, as far as I'm concerned. The first Evil Dead, Sam Raimi's first Evil Dead, also had some humor. It definitely had way more freaky, like when the girl's counting off the cards. I remember seeing that. It freaked me out. But all of them are humorous. This remake had no humor. It was just dark gore, and I wish they called it something else. House Shack or something. Corrupt Shack of the Dead or anything, and then I would have been like, that was a cool movie. It was just like Evil Dead, only not funny, but I don't like having to call it the Evil Dead. So.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we do see these two parallel franchises coming together because you never go Ash to Ash. That is a well-known thing. Sorry about that. But no, more realistically, I like your point. I think that I'd rather see an Evil Dead, if we're going to get more Evil Dead, I like the idea of a television series because you make it sort of like Quantum Leap with an Army of Darkness sensibility. I think you can do some really cool stuff there and you can have a lot of fun with Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I do want the story to continue, but I don't know. I like what they can do in a 2-hour film versus, the development over a series. I just like movies a lot more than TV is what it comes down to. All right, before we get into the next question, we are going to take a couple live Twitter questions at the end of the show. So be nice to Mova the Gatekeeper today. What's the next one?
Brandon Schuer writes, hey AMC, what up? Question for you guys. With the huge financial and critical success of Guardians of the Galaxy, do you think we will ever see any of the characters in a standalone movie, or will they always be all together in Guardians 2, 3, etc.? Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
I think that is a really great question because, Marvel, I feel like we all have just complete faith and trust. Guardians was their risky property, right? And it was awesome. So I feel like they're just hit after hit after hit. And obviously, this is always what it comes back down to. So if there's my fingers, or how about
granules.
Fingers to throat?
Yeah, squeezing blood from an Infinity Stone.
But I feel like, in the end, it is all about that. So if there's an opportunity enough behind Star, behind any of these characters, I want a Groot standalone, then of course they would adventure down that way, but their slate is already so packed. I mean, they already announced Guardians 2. The fun of that universe to me is the ensemble together. I love them. Those character moments, the dialogue was so witty and sharp. It was just great. It was diverse and fun, and I just had a great time. So is there opportunity? Sure, but we already have all these other standalone films coming, and so I don't think we'll see it anytime soon, but of course it's always a prospect. Dan?
Phase 7 confirmed. It's finally happening. The David Attenborough narrated Groot documentary. See him in his natural habitat. No, I think you raised some good points. Their slate is so jam-packed. And part of the reason I love Guardians so much is because of that ensemble dynamic. You meet each character individually, but they really shine when they're working as a unit and interacting and bouncing off each other. And it's not to say that you couldn't have some of these solo adventures, but I think that works better in the comics, where you can have a Rocket Raccoon comic, you can have a legendary Star-Lord. So I'd be shocked if we saw any sort of Guardian solo film spin-off anytime soon, unless they just happen to gross like $300 billion in the next several months.
Boom. Schnapp?
Yeah, I'm guessing we're going to see Guardians of the Galaxy 2 take a more Empire Strikes Back approach, because Star Wars brought all the characters together, and Empire kind of like shattered them once they were all together. So I would like to see that at least. I don't want to see them shattered. I just want to see them all together working together as a group when it starts, instead of like, I think they'll introduce Adam Warlock, is my guess. They're going to keep introducing other characters from the cosmic universe inside Guardians, just like Avengers introducing all these other characters like Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. It's a great format to have a group and then as they always do in all the comic books, they always like spin them out. Like, Iron Man's not part of it anymore. Now we got this dude. You know, War Machine could be in or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to need a big bad to fight Thanos as well, so I think Adam Warlock is a smart call.
Very smart.
I'm of the mind, I agree with Dan completely. I think if you really like Guardians and you want solo adventures, I think Rocket Raccoon, Scotty Young is killing it on that book, so I highly recommend it. And then Star-Lord is great as well. So both of those books have the solo adventures that you're looking for if that's what you want more of. I really don't want to see them separate on the big screen, with one exception. I think Rocket Raccoon could handle his own standalone, and I think he's the breakout character, him and Groot. I think it would be a Rocket Raccoon movie, but Groot would be there. That on its own.
They're the new Chewie and Han Solo, so it'd be cool to do a Rocket and a Groot film.
And Rocket
Raccoon
had his own series as well before he was incorporated into the Guardians. They were separate. Like Guardians of the Galaxy had, you know, was a guy from Mars, all squatty, Yondu and all, and then they had Rocket Raccoon. So you could do a Rocket easy. You could just call it Rocket, and you could have the High Evolutionary in there with a bunch of other animal friends. It'd be crazy.
The search for Howard.
Totally. They already got. Well, hey, we don't know what happens at the end of Guardians.
We don't know.
They got a puppet lying around somewhere.
People are gonna get matched. No spoilers here. All right, Ashley, what piqued your interest for the live Twitter questions today?
Jonathan Alicia writes, any franchises you're surprised haven't been brought up to be revived / rebooted? Mine is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, God. No, I don't want that to be. I can completely respect your sentiments, but I do not want that to be remade. I think
it's already happening. Ant-Man.
Touche. That's a good question. Did any come to mind for you guys?
I think that you have a great answer for this, and people are going to be mad about it.
People are going to be very upset. I talk about this in the office all the time. I've actually really put my head around it. And guys, I'm really sorry, but they're going to start rebooting John Hughes films very soon.
It hurts my heart.
I know a lot of people don't like to hear that. People are very precious about John Hughes, but Paramount has made it very clear that they are looking at every property they have to either reboot it, remake it, or make a sequel. Top Gun 2 is coming.
I'm crying inside.
We've already had people, trying to reboot Vacation, which is a John Hughes script. It's coming. So what are we going to see? Well, I say as a John Hughes fan, let's accept it and let's start calling out what we want to see, so maybe Paramount might listen. I think they did a fine job with the Footloose remake. I'm all about this because I want to see a multicultural Breakfast Club. I want to see a Pretty in Pink with an Asian lead. I want to see a modern version of John Hughes films because those scripts are so timeless. You can update them and not touch a word, and people will be able to identify with those characters.
Justin Bieber is Ferris Bueller.
Honestly, Donald Glover as Ferris Bueller. Tell me that would be amazing.
That.
Do you guys have any that come to mind?
Definitely not John Hughes. I mean, it's almost like heresy hearing that.
Yeah.
I want to just see the old ones. I don't need it to be updated. No. Hey, we have cell phones now. I'm going to take guns out.
I gave myself a year and a half to come up with that side of the argument.
No, you made it really good.
It took me a long time to deal with the reality.
It's a hard one for me to swallow. What I can say is Highlander. There can be only one. I think it's been time. Everyone's forgotten about the TV series and some of the other, weird planet. We are from the planet Glomulux or whatever the quickening, whatever
they
that was.
They forgot until right now.
Yes, I know. I must remind you. You can see it on Netflix, The Quickening. Highlander would be a great one. So,
anything else?
Listen, I don't really want a franchise. I just want an IMAX HD remaster of 1986's Rad. That's all I want to see.
Yes.
Done, cut, and print.
Bam. All right, next question.
Zane Ewing writes, do you think Spielberg will ever get into the superhero movie genre? If so, what superhero should he do? Thanks, and bring the nasty.
I cannot see Steven Spielberg going into the superhero genre. I never say never, but I just feel like he's been on this path of doing these big epics and touching historical, times in our history where he wants to just show it in his big, larger-than-life way. So I don't see it happening anytime soon, but it's interesting to think about who I'd want him to bring to life. Let's just say Aquaman. That'd be dope.
What was this kid's name again?
Spielberg?
No, not...
you mean the kid who asked the question?
To the Twitter guy, have you not seen Lincoln? Have you not seen Lincoln?
What about Warhorse?
Come on.
That's a super heroic name.
What was the little kid, the robot? These are all superhero movies at their core. Yeah. He's told the hero's journey so many times.
Right.
I mean,
Just not the
we don't need
superhero.
him to tell superhero.
He created the best superhero on the planet, Indiana Jones.
Boom.
But can we get a
Knowledge.
shared Spielberg cinematic universe? That's my question.
Indiana Jones riding Jaws.
Yes. To battle.
To E.T., come along. All the E.T.s show up.
I am so into the shared Spielberg universe. That is just magical. All right, guys.
Spielberg-verse.
We have been
What would you call it?
rambling, and we have gone over time, and I hate to cut it here because I just want to have fun with these guys for longer, but we're going to stop it right here. I'd like to thank my panelists for today. Definitely going to have you back now that I finally got you on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Sitting to my left, Mr. Dan Casey. Where can people find you online?
You can find me at OsteoFerocious or at Nerdist.com.
You're too good at that. I'd like to thank Mr. Brian Walton. Where can people find you?
They can find me at R2B2 Walton and also at Nerdist. He does it better. Damn it.
Our one and only Mr. John Schnapp. Where can people find you?
Find me at Twitter and Instagram at John Schnepp, and also at supportsupermanlives.com. Finishing funds at TDO SLWH.
Boom. Finish fun, son. And the lovely Ashley Mova, our gatekeeper for today. Where can people find you?
Twitter, Instagram, at Ashley Mova. Have a good one, guys.
And I'm Amy Rose with AMC Movie News. You can find me at Amy Rosie on the various social networks. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow. Still can't be a list, but we're trying to bring them back for you. Hope you're having fun with us in the meantime.
Ooga
Like us.
chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga. I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me.
See you next time.
When you hold
Hey everyone,
me.
if you like this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.